Hey, and welcome back to the channel. We are talking about all things Burlington, Vermont. Today, Old North End, Burlington, what you need to know before moving here. This is one of the most talked about neighborhoods in Burlington, and honestly, for very different reasons. And that's exactly why you need to understand if before deciding to move here, if it's going to be your jam. Because the Old North End, or the ONE, as locals call it, has personality all its own. It's energetic, diverse, historic, creative, a little gritty in places, and for a lot of people, that's awesome, and exactly why they love living here. Some people move here and instantly feel connected to the culture, the walkability, the food, the community, and access to everything happening in Burlington. Other people get here and realize pretty quickly it's not their vibe, and that's okay too. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what actually living in the Old North End of Burlington feels like, what draws people in, what surprises people once they move here, and who this neighborhood is really a truly great fit for. If you're exploring Burlington and want honest, real insight into what living here is actually like, not just the brochure version, make sure you subscribe. I make videos every week to help people make confident decisions before they move to my area of Vermont. All right, let's get into what really makes the Old North End different. The Old North End has a very distinct character. It feels different from almost every other part of Burlington. There is such a strong sense of community here. It's more diverse, more lived in, it feels more real, and honestly, it can feel creative too. You'll notice these amazing murals painted on several different buildings, flyers and stickers layered onto poles and windows, people biking everywhere, local corner stores, community gardens, music drifting through open windows in the summer. There's really just a lot of personality packed into this neighborhood. So one block might feel more artsy and energetic, where another feels quiet and family oriented. Around the corner, you've got someone walking out of Scout & Co. with their coffee, while another neighbor is grilling in their backyard like they've lived for their whole life. Places like Pomeroy Park, Riverside Community Center, and local businesses like the Intervale, Momo's Market, and even Ladybug Creative give the neighborhoods a really local feel that people connect with. It feels like a neighborhood that became what it is naturally, instead of kind of trying too hard to be something. There's a lot of history here too. The Ethan Allen homestead sits right nearby, with roots going back all the way to the late 1700s. And also throughout the neighborhood, you'll find these beautiful Victorian homes, old multifamily properties, front porches packed with bikes and plants, and streets that really tell the story of Burlington's growth over time. What daily life actually feels like living in the Old North End. It's really about being a part of a neighborhood that feels active and established. There is a lot of things going around, movement, interaction, people walking, people biking, waiting at bus stops, heading to local markets, or grabbing coffee before work. It doesn't feel quiet or tucked away in the same way as like the new North End of Burlington, which I shared. You're closer to people, closer to activity, and more connected to the Burlington city hub. For some people, that is exactly what they want. It feels vibrant, it feels authentic, it feels human. And one thing people really love here is that daily life feels local. You've got neighborhood staples, small businesses, local food spots, and even places like Burley Axe throwing mixed into the neighborhood, which feels kind of Burlington all its own weird fun way. You also have easy access to outdoor spaces. That surprises a lot of people. The Intervale is one of those hidden gems of this area. People bike there, jog there, paddle along the Winooski River, garden at their community garden, and even cross-country ski there in the winter. So that combination of city energy mixed with outdoor access is something that makes the ONE really unique. But it also means you're not getting the same level of separation or privacy that you might find again in those more traditional residential areas like in the New North End. And that's something kind of you want to be honest with yourself about in terms of if that fits for you. Accessibility and location. So one of the biggest advantages of the Old North End Burlington is its location. You're incredibly connected here. You've got easy access to downtown Burlington, the waterfront, Winooski, University of Vermont, the Medical Center, public transit, bike routes, restaurants and coffee. And because of that, your daily life can feel very connected. You're not going to be commuting across the city constantly. You're not driving as much. You can realistically bike or walk to a lot of your routine. That is a huge benefit for buyers, especially students, healthcare workers, young professionals, and people who simply want to stay connected to the energy of Burlington without needing to rely on a car all the time. And one thing people don't always realize is how quickly you can bounce between completely different environments in these areas. One minute you're walking through busy neighborhood streets where the cars are all tight, and the next you're down by the waterfront grabbing a creamy at Beansies, or a burger or fries, all of it is good, hanging around Battery Park, or heading towards the bike path. That accessibility is a massive part of what makes the ONE appealing. All right, now we're talking about the housing in the Old North End. Housing here tends to be a mix. You'll find older homes, multifamily properties, apartments, smaller lots, my lovely colorful Victorians, converted duplexes and triplexes. It is more dense overall compared to other parts of Burlington. You're often getting location over space. Homes are definitely closer together, lots can be smaller, and the layout of the neighborhood reflects that. Different streets can feel different too. So one block might feel heavily residential, while other feels more student-driven or investment-heavy. And honestly, that variety is part of what gives the neighborhood its character. It doesn't feel uniform. Some homes are beautifully renovated, while others still carry that older Burlington feel. You'll see porches of plants and bikes, colorful siding, old woodwork, and houses that seem to have their own personality. For some buyers, that trade-off can make a lot of sense, and for others, it can feel busier or denser than expected. What surprises people after moving to the ONE of Burlington, Vermont? This is where expectations really matter. The biggest surprises tend to come from people who didn't fully understand the feel of neighborhood before moving in. A few things that can stand out. The energy, it's more active and less quiet than some other parts of Burlington. Homes are definitely closer together, there is less separation. The variation, different blocks can feel very different from each other. And honestly, the personality. The ONE doesn't feel polished in the same way other neighborhoods do. There's street art, old homes mixed with renovated ones, students, families, singles, all sorts of peoples, with longtime locals, busy corner stores, and a lot more movement happening around you day to day. Some people absolutely love that authenticity. Others realize they wanted something more suburban or predictable. Again, none of these things are inherently good or bad, they're just part of what defines the area. And the more you understand that going in, the better your expectations will be. Who this area is actually a great fit for. So the Old North End of Burlington can be a great fit for you if you want to be close to downtown, you value accessibility and walkability, enjoy biking and active transportation, appreciate diversity and culture, like active, established neighborhoods, want to feel connected to Burlington's energy, don't mind more density, prioritizing location over square footage. For a lot of buyers, especially younger professionals, creatives, students, healthcare workers, and people who prioritize experience over having a huge house, this area can make a lot of sense. Who it might not be the right fit for. So this area might not be the right fit for you if you do want more space and privacy. If you prefer quieter residential neighborhoods, are sensitive to a lot of activity and density, want larger lots and separation, prefer more consistency from block to block, want a more suburban feel. So in those cases, maybe the new North End of Burlington could feel like a better fit. How this area compares to others. When you compare the Old North End of Burlington to areas like the South End or New North End, the biggest difference comes down to location versus space, energy versus quiet, access versus separation. The South End tends to feel trendier and more polished. The New North End feels certainly quieter and more residential. The ONE sits somewhere in the middle. It's more historic, more layered, more diverse, and honestly, just a little more unique and funky in places. But for a lot of people, that's exactly what makes it feel real, and there's no right answer. Again, it just depends on who you are and what you value. So how I help you decide when you're trying to figure out if an area like the Old North End of Burlington is right for you. The most important thing is clarity, not just on the neighborhood, but on your priorities. So I walk clients through a process where we look at how you spend your time, what your day-to-day looks like, what trade-offs you'd be comfortable making, what kind of environment you actually want to live in. Because once you're clear on those things, the right area usually kind of becomes obvious and brings it to the forefront. So quick question for you, when you think about where you want to live in Burlington, what matters more to you? Some people want to live right in the middle of everything, other people want space and a little breathing room. Which sounds more like you? Please share with me. I'd love to hear from you. Final thoughts. The Old North End has a vibe that's really different from the rest of Burlington. And for a lot of people, that's exactly why they love it. At the end of the day, there's no perfect neighborhood. It's really just about finding one that feels right for you. If you're trying to figure out just that and want some more help, reach out anytime. If you want more videos about what living in Burlington is actually like, please make sure you subscribe. Thanks, and I'll see everybody in the next video.